what's going on with the price of oil. I have been selling oil calls, USO stock specifically. USO stock is the ETF against oil. And I have been calling for this thing to move lower and lower and lower. It's been moving lower. It really exaggerated itself about 2 weeks ago. Turned right back around. I stepped back in. I sold those calls again. I mentioned that in my last video, I think just last week. Already we're seeing oil and gasoline move lower again. Ultimately, oil prices are going to remain lower, if not slide a bit more lower. The economy is beginning to contract. We're seeing some unemployment numbers come in showing that overall consumption is going to start dropping. This is both a worldwide thing and here in the United States. Oil prices are going to continue to be pressured lower. We'll probably see continued moves lower modestly. I don't expect a big move lower from this point. We may eventually end up right around, say, 65, 60, 55, but this is over a much larger horizon. So anytime we see pops higher in, say, the price of oil or gasoline, I step in on USO stock, the ETF against the oil, and I sell calls. That worked out again. Let's jump in. I want to show you the charts, show you what it is that I'm doing to make a couple bucks here and there the easy way on the price of oil. If you're just finding my channel for the first time, this is a breakaway channel. I am D.H. Taylor. What I do here is I take a look at the stock market analysis based on fundamental information, the economy, economics, what's moving what and why. And as we can see over the past couple, over the month, here we're looking at West Texas Intermediate. It is the 1 hour bar chart here in the United States. And as you can see, we saw some moves lower. I thought the move that we saw roughly on the 16th was a little overblown, but I felt the price of oil overall was a little too high. So when it moved down, I didn't put on any new trades. The options I sell, and I tend to sell options out of the money whenever I see a pop higher. I will sell those options and I'll just collect theta based on delta. If the price continues to slightly move lower and lower, my delta improves in my direction, theta declines, and because of that, I just bring in premium. Over the past couple days, starting on Monday, we saw that little pop higher. After that little kind of moved lower on what was about the 20th, I stepped in, I sold some calls again because my other options had expired last Friday. Given that, that worked out just fine. Here's a bigger look at the price of oil. Given that we're moving lower, yeah, we'll probably see the sub 70 handle, but we're probably going to be moving sideways more than anything. And that's really kind of my thesis for everything. And I know everybody's all excited about, oh, things are moving up, I can make money. Things are moving down, I can make money. Unfortunately, sideways is a movement that often kills a lot of traders. I look for the sideways movement. My options are probably going to expire completely worthless on Friday. Should we get any kind of moves higher in oil back above, say 76 again, pushing into 78, 80 area, I'll probably step in and sell some 2-week calls on that because ultimately I think we're just going to kind of meander slightly lower. Here's a look at gasoline prices. They really fell back about 10 days ago, 6 days ago. Things moderated back again. And let's take a bigger look. The price of gasoline really looks like it wants to fall sub levels we've not seen in a minute. And I am perfectly fine with that. It follows gasoline follows oil pretty strongly. Here is a look at USO, the ETF on oil. So USO stock, this is the United States Oil Fund. It's one of the bigger ones. And at this point, anytime we see any price movements above 72, I'm hitting the sell button on the calls. I don't think we're probably going to see that. I don't think we're necessarily going to see anything moving lower. We may bobble between, say, 64 and 70 at this point. And so it's going to be a little difficult to kind of gauge when to get in. I may step in and sell some puts. But what's going on fundamentally is this. We're seeing unemployment rates slightly move higher. This means consumption, in broadly speaking, here in the United States is going to decline, even if it's an imperceptibly small amount. That's less and less people going to work. That's less and less products being shipped across the United States. From that, supply begins to build up slightly. OPEC at some point is going to need to step in again and say, we need to cut production again in order to keep prices elevated on some level so they can make a buck. It's understandable. I'd rather they not be on the side of, say, Russia, but whatever. So my attitude is that because the economy is contracting somewhat, we'll see that play out in the effects of the price of oil and the price of gasoline. So any kind of spikes we see higher, I step in, I sell those calls. Assuming there are no geopolitical concerns that would all of a sudden derail everything and then we get a skyrocket. It looks like the Middle East issues are going to kind of play out less dramatic than we had feared, but still an issue. Given that, moving forward, I'm going to continue to maintain this. But I'm also expecting that OPEC could step in at any point and say, we're cutting production. That would send the price of oil worldwide much higher, a little bit higher, maybe 5%, real fast. I don't want to be short a call in that kind of scenario. So that's something you need to kind of keep in mind is what's going on with employment here in the United States. How will that affect consumption here in the United States? What are the world leaders regarding the price of oil going to do about that? So it's sort of a balance that you got to kind of keep in mind. I don't see a complete derailment of the price of oil. Because of that, I can see that we're kind of just going to meander sideways, maybe head back upward, then back down, and I'll just continue to play into that. Make sure you keep an eye on those unemployment numbers. Initial claims hit today. We've got a holiday tomorrow. Slight softening in initial claims and continuing claims. But when you look at the 4-week average, which is evens things out, we're still moving upward. I see that as a non-permanent thing. We'll see unemployment kind of creep a little bit higher and then employment will start to grow much again, and so will the price of oil. Make sure to hit that like and follow button. I keep this kind of information going out there on the entire stock market. We'll see you in the next video.